Hello, everyone. We are the team Data Hustlers, where we hustle with data to produce desirable results that could benefit a company. We are a team of four with Divyanshu Agarwal, Kazi Tanveer Rahman, Simran Pathak, and I, Kinzal Jain. For this video, unfortunately, Divyanshu cannot join us due to his location because he is situated in India and it is very late there. In this project, we are working on a day-to-day life of a data analyst, from preparing the raw data to cleaning and importing it to MySQL workbench to produce insights from the data. As data cleaning and making it machine compatible is one of the most valuable tasks, we gave most of our time to it. I now will transfer the mic to Tanveer to take you through the steps that we performed for cleaning the data. Over to you, Tanveer.
So initially, like Kinjal told about the process description and about the project. So the first part of our project was to pre-process the data. We were provided with two datasets. That was the Playstore apps dataset and the Playstore reviews dataset. Both the datasets had some preliminary level of cleaning already done, in which the duplicate columns were dropped, duplicate values were dropped. So initially we imported the necessary libraries. And first we pre-process the Playstore apps data. So we read the data into the Python interface and saw what were the type of columns that were available. Initially, the data had nearly 10,348 columns and 13 rows. And you can see the various data types in the data. So like app is object data type, rating is float data type. So it was a good mix of data types of different kinds. Then we saw if there were null values in any of the columns, and we could see that there were certain amount of null values. And so to avoid, and we saw that the null values were very less compared to the data we had at hand, and we decided to drop them. Also, we could see that there were some unwanted characters in the name of the app column, for example, trademark, comma, and so on. So these would create some kind of discrepancy that would be difficult for machine to interpret and read it accordingly. So we removed these special characters as deemed fit. So finally, the data that we had at hand had 10,337 rows and 13 columns. And then we created the CSV file of the same that we used to load to a SQL. Similarly, pre-processing the Playstore reviews dataset, we followed the same steps. And this had nearly 37,000 rows, and there were only 5 columns, mainly dealing with how the data was and about the sentiment and so on. And the dataset was mostly having object values and a good mix of float values too. And this dataset had nearly no null values, so it did not drop anything. As in the previous dataset too, we found unwanted special characters in the translated review columns and dealt with it as we had dealt before with the name of the app column. And finally, we created the process CSV file that could be loaded to SQL for further analysis. So now I would ask Kinjal to take you forward from here.
Thank you so much, Tanveer. Now, as you can see, once we have pre-processed the data and made it MySQL import compatible, we imported the data and we were very successful in importing all the rows that were there present in our data set. Post that, we created the database and we are calling our database as Playstore. Creating the database, then we created the table, two tables for this database, which is reviews and apps data set, respectively for the review data set and the app data set. These are all the columns that we created for the review data table, which is translated review, and the data type we ended up selecting for this is long text because this is what because the text in the review translated review was very long, and this was the only data type that could handle all of that. Then app, sentiment polarity, and sentiment subjectivity. These are all the columns that we use for the app database, that is app table, app, category, rating, review, size, install, type, price, content, rating, genres, latest update, last update, current version, and Android version. And the data types we ended up using is mostly varchar, int, enum, which is either free or paid, and then date. Post that, the task was given to find these to write the SQL queries to answer certain questions, and I would start with that. The first question that was given was to find the app with the max highest rating. Now, since the ratings are based on 5 on 5, the highest rating was given was 5, which is what we found out through the initial EDA of the data. And if I run this query, these are all the apps. There are 271 rows returned. So 271 apps which are given 5 on 5 rating. The next question was to find the number of install and number of reviews for all of these applications that are highest rating. So these are the number of reviews and number of install for these highest rated application. The next question was to find the number of reviews and which category these applications belong to. So the application Facebook has the highest number of reviews with these number of reviews, and it belongs to social category. Next, the question was to find the total amount of revenue generated for the Google Play Store. And this is the logic that we built, and this is the total number of rows that we find. We ended up using one of the aggregate functions, sum, in this SQL query to find out the sum of total revenue. Next question was to find the category of the applications which has highest number of install. Again, we have used some aggregate function and a group by clause as well in this query, because we wanted that our category, that our data should be grouped on the basis of the category, that one category should be grouped all together. Next question was to find the genre with the most number of published apps. And this is the logic that we used, that we grouped our data based on the genre and then ordered it by genre as well. Next, I would like to transfer the mic to Simran to talk to you all about the rest of the questions. Over to you, Simran.
Thank you, Kinjal. So here is the question 7, which is we have to provide the list of all the games, which is ordered in such a way that the game which has the highest number of install is displayed on the top. So for this, we have used the distinct, which means we need the we'll get the unique values. So we are selecting the distinct app from apps, and the category they have asked is for the games. We are using that, and we have done the order by installs descending as we want the highest app name first. The next question is to provide the list of apps that can work on Android version 4.03 and up. So as you can see in the output, where the photo editor Candy Camera, that is the app which work on Android version 4.3 and up, and the list of all those. And we have put this in the where clause so that we can find all the Android version which are 4.03 and up. The next question is number of free apps and the number of paid apps. So for this, we have selected the type 1 column and the count of type 1, as we need the count of those two categories. And as there are two categories which are free and paid, so for that we have used the group by clause. And in the output, you can see the free count is 9575, and for the paid, the count is 762. The next question, which is the best dating app, and best dating app is the one having the highest number of reviews. So for this, we have used two select statements, which the one select statement is embedded in the another. And for, as you can see in the output, the Zeus dating app made singles is the best dating app. The next question, which is the number of reviews having positive sentiment and the number of reviews having negative sentiment for the app 10 best foods for you. So for this, we have used the column sentiment, and as we need the count for each sentiment, then we have used count sentiment, which is from the reviews table, and where the app name is 10 best foods for you. And as there are three categories of sentiment, so we have used group by clause over here for the sentiment. The next question is comments of ASUS Supernote having sentiment polarity and sentiment subjectivity both as one. So whatever the condition is specified in the question, we have used that in the where clause, and in the output you can see which is the awesome. The next question is get all the neutral sentiment reviews for the apps training burn belly fat. So even here we have used the where clause for the column translated review, and you can see the output. We have got the list of the translated review where the apps and sentiment condition is satisfied. The last question is extract all the negative sentiment reviews for Adobe with their sentiment polarity and sentiment subjectivity. So first we have written all the column names that we need in the select statement, and from the reviews table we need that, and the condition is that the app should be Adobe and the sentiment should be negative. So for that, to satisfy that, we have used the and yeah, this is our SQL query. Thank you.
So thank you everyone for listening to us, and we are very satisfied with our results, and we hope that it produced desirable results for the company as well, and we are able to produce some valuable insights from the data. Thank you all.